I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I love this band. Don't you love this band? Yeah. You guys are awesome. Good morning, and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. I'm Reverend C.C. Coltrane, and a special welcome to those of you who are here for the first time. We're happy to see you. And I just want to point out that the song Becky sang first really is who we are. You know, we don't care what color you are, who you love, whether you use the word God and it's okay with you, or whether you cringe when you hear the word God, because some people do because of their past. What we're about here is that life force within all of us, and we celebrate it together, and we celebrate it in each other, and we call it force from within each other, and we try to live from the possibilities that spin off from that. So a special welcome to everyone who is here today. Giving our reading and invocation this morning is Jerry Blumgold, and our vigil holder is Lenza Smith. And Carlos Scarpero and Mark Fowler will be doing our interfaith candle lighting in just a moment. We do that to remind us about all the sources of wisdom that come from all of the world's spiritual and religious traditions. And we actually try to incorporate those common teachings in everything that we do. So who's with our kids today? Miss Stephanie! So while the kids are making their way over to Ms. Stephanie to go in the back with her, we'll just do a quick blessing for them. What gorgeous kids. Hi, gorgeous kids. Wow. What a beautiful bunch. So let's just pause for a moment and just see the divine light, the light of life that's shining out from all of those beautiful children. And know with me that God is right where we are and right where they are, so that everything that they do is an act of love, an act of wonder, an act of divine life. I bless everything that happens in the back today, knowing that these children are showing us a different way to be. At the same time, they are growing themselves. And in deep gratitude, I just let it go. I let these words go, knowing that the universe has already said yes to them. It's already done, and so it is. Have a great day, you guys. Stephanie's always fun. So.
Closing the garden.
Oh, that's right. It's fall. The gardens are getting closed down and dug up and all of that. So we're going to have another song right now. It's called The Eyes of the World, and I think it features Lieutenant Dan.
The first candle is lit to honor Christianity. What does love look like? It has the hands to help others. It has the feet to hasten the poor and needy. It has eyes to see misery and want. It has the ears to hear the sighs and sorrows of men. That is what love looks like. The second candle is lit to honor Judaism. If you want to raise a person from mud and filth, do not think it is enough to keep standing on top and reaching a helping hand down to the person. You must go all the way down yourself, down into mud and filth. Then take hold of the person with strong hands and pull the person and yourself out into the light. The third candle is lit to honor Buddhism. Happiness comes when your work and words are a benefit to yourself and others. The fourth candle is lit to honor Hinduism. Every selfless act is born from the eternal, infinite Godhead. God is present in every act of service. All love turns on this law. Whoever violates it, indulging his senses for his own pleasure and ignoring the needs of others, has wasted his life. But those who realize that God within are always satisfied. The fifth candle is lit to honor Taoism. The sage does not accumulate for himself. The more he uses for others, the more he has himself. The more he gives to others, the more he possesses of his own. The way of heaven is to benefit others and not to injure. The way of the sage is to act, but not to compete. The sixth candle is lit to honor Sikhism. Without selfless service are no objectives fulfilled. In service lies the purest action. The final candle is lit to honor African traditional religions. Guardianship is not to give in order, but to give one's self.
Today's reading is from Ernest Holmes. There is an irresistible, universal, and divine urge within us to be happy, to be whole, and to express the fullness of life. The latent divinity within us stirs our imagination, and because of its insistent demand, impels and compels our growth. It has produced sages, saints, and saviors, and will, when permitted, create a new world in which war, poverty, sickness, and famine will have disappeared. Let's take these words into the silence for a moment. So I know this time that we are sharing is divine time, a time where God's expression of love is unfolding. I know that every aspect of this service is God expressing. Every word spoken, every note played and sung, it is all God expressing. So I know that everything that happens at this center today is for our highest and our best good, for our energy to unfold to our divine purpose. And I thank you, God, for this time that we are sharing, for the oneness that we are, and together we say, and so it is.
You might be able to tell from the readings and the candle lighting readings that our topic for February, our topic for September, which is the month we are in, is service. It's one of our shared values. That's our exploration for the whole year. It's also one of our spiritual disciplines. It's an interesting subject to me. You know, I did a little research, and it turns out that citizens of the United States, which all of us are, we take great pride in the history of volunteerism in our country. We believe that volunteers are virtuous, kind, and essential to the health of our society. We are a country that loves serving and loves giving when people need it, like after a hurricane. However, we're also a country where 3 out of 4 people do no service at all. Isn't that interesting? It's very important to us, but we don't do it. Most people don't. 75% of people. More people give, but they give like the tiniest little bit of their income. It's actually a very small percentage, less than 2% total, and most of that actually goes to religious organizations. I find that very interesting. But it's sort of like many things about our society. It is paradoxical, isn't it? We live in a society where what we do looks to me like we value our individual lives more than we value our collective life. We live in a society that tells us that it's good to be of service to the world, but there's really no impetus to get out and do it. It's curious. Obsession with me and mine in our culture is pretty rampant. At the same time, we know that we find ourselves, we open our hearts, we flower and blossom when we're in community. in service to one another. We know that. So our communal lives matter a whole lot to our happiness and our general well-being. And we're in this paradoxical thing called human life, right? It's filled with these paradoxes. And so I started thinking about my history of serving the world however I choose to do it. And I remember when I was first asked to do service, I had this really strange set of feelings come up. Barely conscious sources, but they all, these thoughts would come into my head like, gee, if I agree to serve, that means I'm going to have to show up and do stuff. And it means that if I blow it off, I'm going to feel guilty, and I don't want to feel guilty, so maybe I just won't volunteer. How's that for circular reasoning? There was also this thing inside me that said, what if nobody notices that I'm doing good work? What if no one notices that I'm in service? I wanted to get credit for it somewhere, on some ledger somewhere. And then there's that voice that says, well, all the new episodes of Big Bang Theory are going to be on. And life is hectic, and I'm working really hard, and money's tight, and I just don't think I'll get involved. Am I the only one that has these little voices? Somehow I don't think so. I think they're pretty common for us. And then there's that voice that says, if you give money away, you won't have enough to do what you want to do. That's, perennial voice. And for a long time, I let those little voices keep me in this snug little container of me and mine, doing little, if anything, to serve the communities I was part of. But then I discovered something. About 31 years ago, somebody in an AA meeting that I had crawled into asked me to help out at the meeting. So I started cleaning ashtrays, because in those days every meeting was full of smoke, and setting up chairs and emptying the garbage, and then I'd volunteer to read something at the meeting, and ultimately to chair the meeting, and then I was all of a sudden the area service representative, and that just kept going on and on and on. And then I found this weird little church called Center for Spiritual Living in Salt Lake, and I started volunteering there to do all kinds of stuff. And then when I went to law school, I went down to the soup kitchen and did a free legal services clinic, and I found some really surprising things as a result. I was not expecting things like this. The first one was that I was a lot happier. It turns out that doing service or contributing financially turns on a part of our brain, lights it up, and that part of our brain secretes, guess what? Dopamine and serotonin. Those two things make you feel good. This is a way to turn on the feel-good chemicals that doesn't make your clothes not fit. Right? Or get you arrested. When we're happier like this, our lives have a greater sense of purpose, and we feel much more contented and satisfied with them. I also felt a lot less stressed, because it turns out that serving makes us secrete oxytocin, which not only relaxes you and reduces your stress level, but it increases the bonding you have with other people and the trust you have with other people. You begin to be part of your community. And we think that we're going to be more stressed because we serve, and that takes time and energy, and we're not going to have that energy for ourselves. The opposite thing happens. We feel more relaxed. We feel generally easier in life. Related to this, I started to actually give 10% of my income away at about this same time. And the most amazing thing was I started feeling less stressed about money. That never computed to me, right? Wait, I'm giving away a whole bunch. We think that if we give it away, we're going to worry about being short of money. But what happens is we have a feeling that we're abundant enough to give some away. And we feel like we're contributing to the greater whole. And I've never run out of money since I started tithing, I'll just tell you that. The other thing I discovered is that I had a lot of back pain and a lot of neck pain and headaches, and they started to go away. Because I stopped thinking about them all the time and started thinking about the community I was part of. And I also started to feel more in control of my pain and these numerous little niggly things that were going on in my body. It was an amazing thing. There are lots and lots and lots of benefits to service. There was a study of AA members and found that those who volunteered to help others were twice as likely 1 year later to be clean and sober. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Depression rates are correspondingly lower the more service you do. If you make it a regular part of your life, your depression goes away or diminishes. Part of that is simply because of all those feel-good chemicals, I'm sure, but part of it is also because depression is often contributed to by isolation. And when we're serving a community, we're in touch with the people in it, right? We have a social support network. Serving also lowers blood pressure, benefits our careers, and I saw a recent study that found serving others reduced the mortality rate of the groups being studied by 22%. It's an amazing thing. There are lots and lots of what's in it for me reasons to serve and to contribute, but there are even more reasons when we talk about our own spiritual growth. When we talk about our spiritual evolution and expansion, generosity and service and giving reminds us that we make a difference, every single one of us. It enlarges us. That's why the Buddha taught that generosity and service and giving is the very first door we have to walk through when we set out on the spiritual path. If we're serious about our spiritual work, it's the very first door we have to walk through. Generosity, the first paramita, right, Mark? Paramita. Paramita. Depends on what side of the divide you're on, right?
Don't make me separate.
Is he suffering? He's suffering back there. Sorry, got off on the Buddhist thing. Without generosity, enlightenment is impossible. That's what the Buddha said. Because we're too self-centered. We learn in our society how to be self-centered. And so when we start to give and serve with generosity, we start to focus on something other than our little selves. We practice moving from the me, the heart, the ego mind, to the us, which is the heart mind, the larger us that we're part of. There's another really important Buddhist idea that's meant a lot to me. This isn't just our culture, but maybe it's particularly heightened in our culture. We've been indoctrinated into wanting, right? Is there anybody here who doesn't want something all the time? I think we all want a lot. Whatever we have, we want more. I used to work for a guy who had, I don't know how many millions of dollars saved for his retirement, and a house and 2 condos all paid for. And he said, I can't stop work, I don't have enough. I'm like, say what? But you know, he probably doesn't, I don't know. Anyway, he was afraid to quit work because he was still wanting more and more and more. Even those among us who have more money than we know how to spend want more of it. It's kind of a sickness in our society, because as long as the wanting continues, there will never be enough. Will there? As long as we're wanting and wanting and wanting, we'll never have enough. We'll never arrive. We'll never be satisfied with what we have. And the cultivation of generosity and service offers a really strong antidote to that wanting mind. The action reinforces in us that we are enough and that we have enough to be able to give some away, whether it's money or time or energy. When we are giving it away and realizing that we're still fine, we realize we have enough to do that with, and pretty soon the wanting starts to dwindle and we get more satisfied with our lives. I call that a miracle. I don't know what you call it, but I call it a miracle. Does the wanting ever completely go away? Probably not, and I don't know that whether it would unless you could go live in a cave somewhere, but to have it abate in our lives a little bit, I think would be a wonderful thing for all of us, because wanting is, there's a Buddhist concept called the hungry ghost, and a hungry ghost has a little tiny mouth and a great big belly because it can never take in enough to satisfy its craving. I don't want to live that way, right? I don't want to be a hungry ghost. Sometimes we think we got to wait for the wanting to dwindle and then we'll give or serve, but that's not the way it works. We have to do it in spite of this mind that says, I want, I want, I want. If I do that, I'm not going to have. The action quiets the wanting. I carry a vision for everyone here, everyone who is involved in any way with this spiritual community, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. And the vision is this, that each one of us is happy, satisfied with our lives, feels financially secure, feels like he or she is making a difference, feels loved, feels a part of this greater whole. That's what I want for every one of us all the time. I want every one of us to be continuously growing spiritually by practicing what's possible. Always increasing our joy level, our wisdom, our ability to choose how we react to what life brings our way. See, I see this community as a microcosmic fulfillment of that giant vision that's on the wall out there, our global vision of our organization, a world that works for everyone, because everyone in it is spirit-centered and growing. That's what I want for everyone here. In order for us to see and create a community that works for everyone and a world that works for everyone, we have to bring that spirit-centeredness into our own lives, into every part of our lives, into our work and into our families, into our reactions and interactions with each other here and at the grocery store and at the post office and everywhere we go. We have to be the examples of possibility in life. And you know, we're each given these giant gifts when we arrive here. Each one of us has a gift that is unique to us, and we're the only ones who can give it. And once we step foot on the spiritual path, we're given a whole bunch more really amazing gifts. So in order to lead that spirit-centered life, we can't hold back from sharing those gifts. If you have a voice like Becky's, you got to sing. You know, and we have one in the back. She's singing. It's wonderful. He or she. It's beautiful. If you have, a gift of connecting with people, you got to connect. If you have a gift of organizing, you got to organize. Please come see me. Whatever your gift is, you know, you got to give it in order to feel like you're making the difference that's unique to you. Only you can give that gift. And a big part of it is simply having the confidence in yourself to be who you are, however that is, whatever color, whoever you love, however you dress, however you sing, however you talk. You are a gift. You are a gift. But when we try and hold it back, we're holding back our own full expression. When we try not to be part of the community that we're part of, we're holding back our full expression. When we try not to be generous with our time and our attention and our talent and our money, we cut off the possibilities for ourselves to grow. And the sages of all ages tell us, give where you're spiritually nurtured. Give to the place and the places and the people that grow you, where you get spiritual tools and spiritual companionship. And I hope for many of you, or most of you, that means here, Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. And I tell you, I was thinking about this and I was listening to one of my colleagues, and he said something that just made me kind of sit back and take note. He said, I cannot imagine another organization more worthy of your gifts of time and effort and money than your community, your spiritual community. Because every week, 100 people go out of here with something they can use, and they're changed a little bit, and they touch people around them who are changed. And because of you, people who are broken, life has broken them. Because of you, they get healed. They get put back together and they start to live new lives. Because of you, no matter how someone looks or acts or where they come from, they're welcome, more than welcome, they're loved because you love them. You love them up. When I stop and think about all of that, I think, this is a big deal we're doing together here. It's a big deal. It matters in the world. It really does. Maybe now more than ever, because more and more people are feeling disconnected and they don't know how to find a place to connect. They're disenchanted with the churches they grew up with because there was guilt and shame there. More and more people are feeling like there are places where their kind just aren't welcome. More and more people are feeling a need to make a spiritual connection and a people connection with people who will listen and respond, who will give compassion and empathy and love. And that's what we do. We offer unconditional love, open-hearted acceptance, compassion. We affirm each other's divine beauty and gifts. We reflect them back to each other. We teach tools to help each other heal from all that stuff that life throws in our way. We empathize with each other without enabling each other. We see each other as whole beings. That's an amazing thing. To walk in here and be seen as a whole being, no matter what you're messing up. And we see those perfect gifts that each one of us carry in other people's eyes as they look at us. And we live not in fear of what's wrong, but in faith of what's right. We don't practice guilt and shame. We practice living from possibility. What's possible in my life? What's possible for me to do in this moment that will bring me more joy and contribute to my world? This is really rare in our world, isn't it? It's a rare thing. It's precious. It's a precious thing. So it's worth supporting with time and energy and money and committing to. And when I say that C word, everybody take a breath. Because the thing you're committing to is yourself. You're not committing to me or this building. You're committing to your own spiritual growth. It can be a little scary because, we have walls. But the moment we say I'm committed, the walls start to come down. Some of the walls are in the person who's afraid, like, I'm not sure I want to join any community or be, that involved. And those walls keep you walled off. Sometimes the walls are in other people, like, well, I don't know, I really like her, but she might not be here in 3 weeks, so maybe I won't get too close. Or I don't want to push that person into making a decision. We hesitate too much sometimes. These things are complicated because they're relationships between people. Relationships between people are complicated. We just have to do the very best we can from a place of an open heart, right? But the commitment is the commitment to yourself and your own growth. The commitment to the willingness to break down those walls. The commitment to try the tools and the principles to test for yourself in a committed fashion whether they work. And that doesn't mean once or twice. I always love it when people say, well, I did the forgiveness work on that issue. And I say, well, then why? Oh, you did it once. Yeah. Then how come you're still so unforgiving? Because it takes time. You have to do it over. Jesus said 70 times 7. Oh, that's a lot. But that's because you don't just go, I'm going to click my heels together 3 times and all is forgiven. No, we have to keep rooting it out of ourselves until it's gone. But if we practice the principles and the spiritual tools here for a period of time with some consistency, I promise life will change. So my invitation is to commit to yourself for 90 days or 6 months, whatever feels comfortable, and be committed to yourself. Practice. Do the things that are suggested here, and I promise you unequivocally that your life will improve over that time. It may not get from 0 to 60 It may not get from gray to full color, but it will be on its way. The one thing I know is that when people go looking for a quick fix or instant enlightenment, they don't find it. It's just not the way it happens. What does happen is that you will get a lot more for your investment than watching the whole season of Big Bang Theory. I promise. You will get a lot more peace and joy and comfort in your own skin. Your life will begin to change. Your life will begin to flower. Because without this place, without this group of people, this love, the world is a bleaker, less friendly place. Because of the light that each one of you is, because of the light that this community is, the world's brighter. It's more loving. You matter. We matter. We truly do. Anybody feeling talkative today? Asia, I can always count on you, girl.
You're awesome. I just want to tell you that. Not like a man because I went to bed at 4:30, but you guys can bear. You said something really powerful. Give your gift. I think we've all talked about working in our calling, but to truly give your gift to something has to be the most incredible thing I've ever heard. And to really put it into those terms, I just want to share that so that we are that we have a moment to kind of focus and meditate on that. I think sometimes we're forced or we feel forced to give outside of our gift. I know growing up in church, it was always a need for the children's ministry, and they would get up there and they would beg people to work with the kids. And at that time I was a kid and I wished that they wouldn't have begged these people to work with us because they didn't have the passion or the joy or the desire. It's kind of like teaching if you don't like children. It doesn't really go. And so to first know your gift and to give that is enough. If my husband is a chef, so I always, make him cook. I don't know if he knows he's serving, but he's always giving his gift. On the other hand, I don't ask him to volunteer with the teenagers, So you have to really know that, and that in itself is powerful. This month of service has been really good for me to reflect on where I am and what am I doing. Am I truly giving him my gifts every opportunity that I get, or am I trying to binge watch 17 shows? Because that's kind of where I am right now. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle. Most of you know me here. I came here 4 years ago. I, too, is AA member, and this beautiful woman right here is my sponsor, and I am so blessed for that. Thank you so much. I stumbled on this place as well. I was going through a phone book, and it came up in 2 different areas in the phone book, and I was like, okay, that's Spirit letting me know I must check this place out. It came up twice, and I took the foundations class, and I talked with Reverend Cece and Becky and Linda, and my life went from just being clean and sober in AA to happy, joyous, and free in a spiritual life that is every day for me. And these people have watched me change from what I was when I came and who I am today and what I get to do today. And she taught me so much about service by how she served me. It made me want to go out and serve. And that's what I get to do today. I get to do these things today. I get to work from home. I get to serve people. I get to see people's life change from the principles that she taught me and the center has taught me. And if you haven't taken yourself in commitment, please do, because you are so worth it. And this place right here is a wonderful place to springboard into a new light, a new life, and a new thought about yourself and a way to live. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Changing lives. Changing lives. Let's take a few minutes in contemplation and prayer, shall we? And as I breathe in the joy and the love of this room. And I allow myself to feel the heart of Spirit, God, Allah, the universe, life itself, by whatever name you call it. The very heart of it is right in the middle of this room and right in the middle of each person here. We are embodiments of that life, that divine flow, that infinite intelligence that is everywhere present, in every moment of time. And where it is, it all is. And so right here, where I am and where each of us is, there is a dispensing station for that love, for that wisdom, for that intelligence, for that joy, for that life. And what I know for each one of us right now is that we take that seriously and remember that what we're doing is dispensing the joy of the universe, the life of the universe, the love of the universe, the wisdom of the universe, the abundance of the universe. It flows through us out into our world, making the whole world a better place, bringing light wherever we go, bringing joy, creating new lives for us, and changing the lives of all those we interact with, simply because who we are has changed. I know that we say yes with a resounding yes to our own spiritual evolution and growth and flowering into all that we came here to be, into seriously committing to understanding our own gift, letting it bloom and blossom and come forth into the world, knowing that each one of us is beautiful, precious, and essential to the universe, essential to the whole. Knowing this and knowing the truth of it about this community, knowing that that vision that I hold is happening, it's coming into form right now. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to be part of this community. I'm so grateful for the life that we are able to lead together, the way that we reflect love to one another, the way that we reach hands out to each other when needed. For all of that, for life itself, I just say thank you. And from gratitude, I let it all go. I release it. I know that whatever this divine power is, it's already said yes to me. It's already said yes to us. And so I just let it be. And we say together, and so it is.
I'm just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life. We are all just drops within a stream flowing towards an ocean of life. We may forget where we come from. We may forget where we're going to. I might not see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. I am just a seed, a lesson
ushers are making their way up here, we now have an opportunity to support, to give generously to this community so that our doors stay open and our staff gets paid and we can be here week after week to explore with you what's possible. It's been kind of a rough summer. It's been really interesting. I don't know whether it's politics or what, or vacations, but it's been a hard summer. And so I'm hoping it turns around now that fall is here and y'all are back with us. And I'm just grateful that we make it all the way through the year and somehow every year we manage to come out okay. So I want to invite you right now to just take a moment to be grateful. Take a moment to stop and think about your own life and all the things you have to be grateful for. Your family, your friends, your home, your job if appropriate. All the things you can do, even if you're limited in some of them, there's still so many more that you can do. Your beautiful brain and mind. All those great things. The fact that you woke up this morning, there's one. The fact that we live here in a place where there are no tornadoes, there are no hurricanes, there are no earthquakes, very rarely a tornado, but it seems to skip over us. Our weather is temperate. We live in beauty, and the leaves are changing early. How hard is that, right? All these things we have to be grateful for. Just let yourself be filled up with gratitude. And from that gratitude, take your gift in your hands or in your heart if you give electronically as I do, and simply be filled up with gratitude and affirm with me, I am joyful.
I am joyful.
I am free.
I am free.
I am grateful.
I am grateful.
I give with gratitude.
I give with gratitude.
And I say yes.
And I say yes.
To all the good life has to offer.
To all good life has to offer.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Can you see?
Yeah. Aren't they sparkly?
I thought you could see. Couple of quick announcements. On your bulletin cover is a tear-off form that you can use to give us your contact information if you're new or if you've moved or changed your email or anything. Please fill it out and drop it by the Welcome Center at the end of the service. We won't abuse you with emails, nor will we sell it to anyone else. We'll just use it to send you a little weekly pick-me-up in the middle of the week. I send out a little short email and to let you know occasionally about really super special events. Right after this, we finish up here today at about noon in the adult classroom. It's time for Rap with the Rev again, which is just a short get-together for new or newish people. We share our spiritual journeys with each other, and any questions you might ask can be answered, and we just get to know each other a little bit better. Probably from noon till about 1 o'clock. And as you can see from the plethora of flyers in your bulletin, I love that word, plethora. There's a lot going on here. Fall classes are starting. Foundations meets on Tuesday evenings, but this next week I'll be in Florida, so we will meet again on September 26th. You can still get into the class if you begin that night. Starting on September 25th, which is Monday, Linda Andriaco will be offering a meditation class. It's a wonderful course and just gives you a whole range of meditation practices to look at so that you can find the one that works for you and get support in doing it. The sign-up sheets for the classes are over on the bulletin board right over there. And if you plan to come, please sign up so we make sure we have class materials for you. In your bulletin is a flyer about next week. I will be dragging back from Florida really late on Saturday night, so I won't be here on Sunday, but my friend and colleague, here it is, the blue one, Terry McBride will be here next week. He's an amazing guy. He's led an amazing life, and I know that you'll enjoy being with him, and he will also offer a workshop next Sunday evening from 5 to 8. He'll be here speaking to you Sunday morning, and then he'll have a workshop from 5 to 8. So be sure you show up for that. And next Sunday, our Consciousness Cafe will reopen after its summer hiatus. And they're inviting you, I know, yay! They're inviting you to bring a dish to share. Start off with a bang with potluck. And the food's always wonderful, and it's a great opportunity to just hang out with people for a while. So if you look at look at the rest of the flyers and the back page of your bulletin, you will see that the fall's a very busy time. We've got great stuff coming up, from everything from a bonfire to a camping trip to all sorts of things. So check those out. Also, if you are interested in serving with the kids, they are our future. Besides that, they're just a whole lot of fun. You are welcome to do that. There is a sign-up sheet over there that says "Be part of our future" at the top. If you put your contact information on that, then the people that run the youth program will contact you, and you can talk further with them. We have openings with the little kids and with the tweens and teens, so check it out. If you would like prayer after service for anything, more joy, that's always a good thing if you're in joy. Some joy if you're not so joyful, however it works. Whatever you would like prayer for, you can ask any of the beautiful women with the white or the teal stoles on, depending on which side they have up. And their gift to you on Sunday is a 1-minute miracle of prayer. They'll find a quiet corner and get with you. So just walk up and ask for prayer. You can also put a written prayer request in the prayer box, which is back by the door. You can call the prayer line, which is on the back of the bulletin, or you can go to our website, cslgd.org, and make it electronically. We believe in that prayer changes us. God doesn't need changing, we do. And so we get changed by it. Okay, for the first 3 minutes after service, don't talk to anybody you already know well. Talk to somebody you don't know well. Make a new friend today. And don't forget to get at least 10 hugs before you leave. We need our hugs, right? Thanks to everybody this morning for being here, for the band, which is always fabulous, for the ushers and greeters, for everybody who made this service possible. Mostly you, most of all you. Nice to have you all here this morning. Let's stand for our closing affirmation and our closing song, which is "A Light in This World." I commit to myself. I commit to my spiritual growth. I joyfully commit to serving my community. I let my life grow in love and in joy. And so it is. Have a great week, everybody. You too.